Texas already. I know you're in Central Time Zone. All righty. All right. So I thank you all for spending part of your evening with me. I'm just giving you chance to settle and giving some of your peers maybe a chance to join on with us also. Anybody have a particularly good day today? Not so, or maybe so-so. Anyway, a 1 for great, 2 for so-so, and 3 for, yeah, less than that. Anybody? If you had to rate it, okay, that's good. Who else? What about Violet, um, Bucky, or Christina? And Bucky, will you make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly? Okay, I see it too. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Because you can mess up a name. You let me know. It's a 2. Anyone else? Okay. So I'm gonna take it that I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay. All right. I will take that. So, okay, it's 5 after. I'm going to get ready to just get started. Okay. Again, thank you for joining our Navigating Life Challenge because ready or not, life happens and it keeps happening. And the catch is, I was telling someone today, the things beyond our control, and sometimes it's crazy out there. We don't want to go crazy and have our hair on fire either. We have to have a way to manage so that we are not overcome and overtaken, overwhelmed by the challenges around us and that surround us. Okay, so everyone, make sure you have your workbook. It was put in the chat a moment ago, and if you didn't receive that, if you just logged on, make sure that you do get your workbook. And congratulations on accepting the challenge, and welcome to the 3-day Navigating Life Challenge. So we are going to establish first and foremost a safe space here. We'll provide tools for understanding and strengthening emotional resilience. And we'll acknowledge our circumstances for the purpose of embracing emotional recovery and creating a new image of ourselves. So, as you know, I am Precious Fuller, your emotional empowerment specialist. I'll be guiding you through this process and through this challenge. And part of my space is I help mature women, those of mature age, who've been here for a minute, of varying backgrounds, realign themselves after experiencing emotional difficulties and challenges that have zapped their energy and threatened their outlook on the future. We can't stay there. One of my videos, if you've noticed any of them, one is It's Okay to Not Be Okay, because that's real life, just not to stay that way. That's a bummer, okay? Because we can't avoid going through things, some valleys, not just mountains, but we will go through valleys. Can't avoid it, but we can't stay there. Just can't stay there. So I share this program with people from all walks of life, and they can range from leaders to lay people, executive, entrepreneurs, homemakers, healers, all with the same goals of centering their own needs. There are times we naturally give to others, it happens, and this time we can be deliberate about giving to ourselves. We have to give to ourselves because, as the saying goes, we can't pour from an empty cup, and sometimes we are. So we want to not do that. And so this workbook will just help be a guide as we go through the process, give you something to look at, gauge, and process even later. And the blanks that you have, your version is fillable. I will give you the information and the answers as we go along, so you can fill that in as we go. Okay, any questions so far? Also, there'll be homework. You have homework each night, and you can fill that in. That's in the workbook as well. And we can follow up on that then. So I'm going to ask you something real big. So let me, just 1 second. Let me ask someone to be quiet. Just 1 second. Okay, real life happens. Just had to ask them to be a little quieter. Today we're going to deal with unlocking your emotional resilience if you're looking at your schedule, and the journey begins today. So embark on a transformative journey to discover your inner strength, support, and clarity in our 3-day Navigating Life Challenge. But here's the other part that I need from you. If you're able, as it's been said before in another program I participated in, unless you're kind of on the toilet, you're getting dressed, if you can, show yourself, okay? If you're able to, if you're not, if you're doing something, if you're driving and you're just not able to be, stable and handle that, then that's understood. But if you're able, go ahead and, put your cameras on. So, but if not, you are still able to unmute. I just like to give a moment for you to share what brought you today. Is there anything, no deep dark secrets, nothing that you have to just pour out your soul. But if there's anything on a light level that you can share with what brought you here today, please do so.
I would
What
like to
piqued your
share.
interest? Sure.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Yeah, I'm actually uh turning 40 this year, and I'm still on that stage that I'm still in denial, and there's a lot going on in my life right now, but um I I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't want to accept that. Yeah, I'm turning old, but everyone is telling me that, you know what, 40 is the best, one of the best stage of their life that they experience. And still, I'll be 40 in what, 3, 4 months now. So I don't
Hmm.
know what I will be facing this
Hmm.
year.
Okay. Thank you for that. Francis, do you go by Francis or
Kate.
spoken? Kate? Okay. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that. Okay. Just keeping it real. Just like I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I'm turning 40. Kind of maybe nervous. She didn't use that word, but and it's coming. 3 or 4 months, it's coming. And so I'm glad you're here. Very good. Thank you for that share. Who else can you share what brought you today? What piqued your interest and brought you here today? So let's see. Should I call on you? What about you, Bucky? Are you able to unmute?
Mm, I just need some kind of thank you. Let me start by saying good evening and thank you for putting this together. Actually, the name is Buki, like Buki.
Got you.
It's
Buki.
a shortening form of my name. My full name is Bukola. I can type it in the chat. So, um, well, the topic is of interest because um past that, I'm in that category. I'm over 40, and I keep like having to start something and then I don't go on with it. I don't get to complete my projects, and it sort of sometimes give me some kind of emotional. I'm not always so happy with that, with myself, you know, in that area of my life. So I would like to see how I can get past that stage and just go on with whatever I start and get it to fruition, see it to completion, and really, because I know I have a lot of things that I really want to do, but it just seems as if I don't know which one to pick and just get on with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And it's Buki. Thank you for
Yeah.
your share. I appreciate that so much. We're going to come back to something that you shared shortly. I appreciate that. Violet and Christina, anybody like to be first?
Hi, I'll go first. I literally just came in the door from work, so that's why I have my camera off. I just wanted, like, this weekend was, I don't know, I thought I was fine, but this weekend I just found myself like in a blah, like, ugh, just downer. And I was like, I'm so glad I signed up for this, so maybe I can find out what I want to be when I grow up because it's been a little struggle. So yeah, That's mainly why I came.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. You're gonna take me off my guard. I'm not be professional if I crack up, but you may make me do that. What about you, Violet? Did I say your name correctly? Do you have anything? Okay. Okay. Well, let me, I appreciate each person's presence, and each one means the world just by yourself. So whether it's 1,000 people or one, if that one is you, it makes all the difference. So I celebrate each one of you today and for choosing to show up. And uh, it was interesting when Buki said something about not being able to complete, wanting to complete projects. Christina sharing, I almost got the word, almost like a brain fog. Just I was just in a space, and I'm like, I'm so glad I signed up today. What do I want to be when I grow up? The point is, when we are tapped out, it shows up in ways, and that's what I want to give you next. I want you to be able to share. You can even put it in the chat or just unmute. Since it's just us, we're in a safe space. That's first thing. This is a safe space. How does, let's say, anxiety or stress, confusion show up in you when it's not good? What does it do? I'll start one. My chest is just tight. I don't even have a word to really describe how it feels, but I don't know. Maybe like it's wound up so tight and it needs to release, but I feel it physically. What's one thing that you notice that you feel? Because Buki shared one as far as even being able to complete and accomplish tasks. Sometimes that's a big one. But anything else, what does it look like? How does it show up for you physically in your body when you're not good? How does it show up for you? And I'm not sure who iPhone is. You can put your name in the chat and tell us where you're from. That would be good. Welcome to our group. But the question is, how does stress, emotional fatigue show up in your body? Okay.
Weight, I don't know where the extra weight just came from because I don't think I'm eating any differently.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. And there's something about that after 40 piece. We're different. And it shows itself differently. And some things we may have thought like we're past that now. And we're at this stage, but yet life still happens, and it happens in a way sometimes we weren't prepared for it. And even if we are of the mature age of 40 plus, this is our first time being this age and at this stage. So when things happen, it's brand new for us. It's not new, but it's new for us. And so for many, I definitely heard that with weight, and especially if you're not really even eating that much. So that's another one. Anybody else have any other physical signs of the emotional weight and drain, how it shows up on you physically? Okay, and as pressure, ever go up? Maybe you're sad, um, sometimes emotional over things that maybe shouldn't even be that deep, or it could be even worse if people go into a full-blown depression. But these are some of the physical, and then I kind of branched off, I guess, into emotional and mental. Anything emotional or mental that you feel when you're not good. Clearly, you're not at your best when you're that way. How does that look? How are you able to show up for those in your life? Are you able to show up for them? Or do you just wish they kind of go away for a little while? I mean, how does it impact, let's say, your relationships? We're not a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. If we're not well, we're not a 10. And what is interesting, can't say funny, but it's interesting is that we can present well. Because we have to go to work. You're gonna have to pay the bills, or you have responsibilities, and sometimes we just need it. We need something to do. You're gonna go to work, you're gonna get dressed, you're gonna fix yourself up. So you can present well, but the body doesn't lie. It knows when it's not good. We can't fool it. We can say things to others, well, I'm good, I'm good. We can even try to pretend to ourselves, but our body knows the truth. And so that will lead us to the first part of what I want to share. Before we get into the next pillars, we have a system to help us, and it is tried and proven, and it does work. But the first one is safety. Have you ever been where you are not safe? I'll say that because when you're not safe, you're not even able to express and acknowledge how you really do feel because you're not safe to do so. But in the safety of an environment or with a particular person, you're able to really, as the proverb goes, just kind of let your hair down in a way that you know you're not going to be harmed, you're accepted, you're safe. So I want you to think of the last time you felt safe, where that was or whom that was with. What's a safe place for you? And as you think, however you choose to answer that, because I would like somebody, everyone doesn't have to be everybody. I'm thinking back when I was younger, my safe place really was in Clarksville, Virginia, where my grandparents lived when I was with them. I was fully able to just be a child. I didn't have to be anything else. I didn't have to be anybody's confidant or, be in a grown role. I had to do nothing but be the child that I was. And in the midst of being safe and cared for, you're not thinking about it. But when you're outside of that, and sometimes years later, and you look back like, that was a good time. That was a healthy time. Those were people that I felt safe with and good with, and they've made an imprint on my life as long as I have life. Do you have people, a person, a place where you felt safe? And do please go ahead and share. Share. Ooh, if it's taking that long to
Let
think,
me
this tough,
share.
y'all. That
My
means it's
safe
been a
place
minute.
have always been, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. My safe place have always been my home. I always feel safe when I'm home, more than any other place.
Oh, that's good.
When I'm with my family, my husband, my children, no matter what happens at home, I still feel safe when I'm home than anywhere else.
Mm.
And the other question you asked about how we feel in our body, just don't feel like talking to anyone, which is very, uh, everybody notices because I'm the kind of person who talks a lot and always want to talk to people. So when I'm going through some emotional stress, I just keep sighing all over the house. And it took a while before realize people notice. And they go, why are you, my daughter say, why are you sounding like that? You know,
Okay.
so I really need to be conscious of it,
Okay.
knowing that people are noticing. Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. And you feel safe at home. And I say congratulations to that. That should, shoulds are not necessarily always good words because it's what it is. But ideally, we should feel safe in our home. Not everybody does. It's not a sanctuary for everyone because if you can't go home, where you gonna go? That's tough. But to have safety in your home, it's not an automatic. So it's a benefit and a blessing when you do have that. Okay. What about my other friend over there? I see her thinking. I see the wheels turning in her head. Where do you feel safe, Christina? Or who did you feel safe with, or do you feel safe? Oh, you're on mute.
Probably my son.
Okay, I got you.
But I'm going in the past, like here later on. But yeah.
I hear you. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you had something to do with him being here. So to have a healthy, natural connection of safety with him is ideal. Again, it can't be taken for granted because not everybody does. But to have that, that's applaud worthy. That's a benefit. Okay. What about you, Kate? Or Violet, or do you have a place of safety? Or you're on mute too.
Yeah, sorry. My safety place is I never really go out. So uh even before pandemic, so I've been I've been staying home a lot. So that's the reason why I am kind of, skeptical of what would what can I say outside?
Mm,
What's the next chapter of my life waiting for me?
mm,
So yeah, and
mm.
everyone surrounds me like, yeah, you should enjoy your life right now. And I was like, no, I'm good here. I'm safe here,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Up until at this moment, I'm not sure what's the next chapter of my life waiting for me.
Gotcha. I got you. But you do feel safe at home.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
100%.
That's a lot. I mean, that means something, you all.
But I
What about
wanna
you?
I wanna
Mhm.
explore outside. I wanna explore and I wanna explore. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong. They said this is the right moment where you need to go out, explore the world and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point. I appreciate that. What about you, iPhone? I'm not sure who you are, but can you unmute and share? Or Violet? And when you speak about the right now time, one place I feel good is when I sit outside. I have a space that I can sit outside, and I just appreciate that by myself. It doesn't mean some people can't join me, depending on who they are, but I just do feel safe and good outside. There's some grass outside. I can look at it, there's some trees. It's not a lot of distractions. It's not a sensory overload of stuff going on. I can just really say, hmm. And that's what I want us to do right now. I want us to just take a minute, breathe in, and breathe out through your mouth. We're going to do it 2 more times just to help settle ourselves. So just breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Make it good, make it count. And that's important because there's always something to do. There's always something we haven't finished. There's something undone. There's something important. At some point, you still got to take care of yourself, even if it's just taking a few moments and breathe. What happens if you stop breathing? That activity either will get done or it won't, but the world will not stop spinning. People will not drop dead. It's not going to happen. The sun will still come up the next day. No one can stop it. That's going to still happen. And we're going to still have a list of things to do. But at some point, I'm going to take it easy, even if I have to make myself. So, without saying what it is, has anybody had anything unexpected happen today? Like, I wasn't planning on that. This was supposed to go a certain way, but bam, this happened. This came up, this situation. I didn't like it. I didn't want it, but it happened anyway. Anybody ever has? Okay, I had. It's happened today. And that's not the biggest part. The bigger part is how did it impact you and what did you do about it? Anybody pull out any patches of hair? I don't know, you fuss or cuss somebody out, you cuss somebody out in traffic. Did you run down the street naked? Like, I don't know. Like, what did you do? Because the point is, breathe. I breathed through it. And guess what? I lived through it. Nothing caught on fire. It's settled. Here's the thing. Being human, which is something we all wear, stuff happens. Technology fails us. Sometimes we forget things. We misplace things. We say or do the wrong thing. We're tired. We get enough sleep, so we're not at our best. So we make mistakes. Like stuff. And then some mistakes are not of our control. We didn't do it, but it affects us nonetheless. And we got to figure it out. One of the things that I don't appreciate happening, but it's happened. I'm in the middle of something. I'm on a call. I'm doing something for work, and my computer restarts. So my initial reaction was like, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? The people on the other side, and then I just settled down. All I can do, I promise, all I can do is wait for that to restart. There's nothing else I can do until that computer restarts. So I can pass out and get stiff and fall on the floor. I can scream a bit. It's still going to take the same amount of time until that computer restarts. And when I choose the self-care and not lose my mind and not flip out, it restarts and the people are on the other side waiting for me. And I'm like, oh, sorry about that. Blah, blah, blah. And we get back in the game and it's forgotten about. My point is, we cannot stop stuff from happening. We're just talking about stuff. We're not even talking about other people, how they act or how they impact us. We're talking about stuff. We can't do anything about some things. I can choose to die behind it or not. I choose not. It's not worth it. If you're gonna die for a cause, don't let it be that. We choose what you're gonna, if you're gonna die on a hill for something, let it be something worthwhile, not just stuff that's gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening no matter how tech savvy someone is, no matter how prepared someone else is, the unexpected will happen. And it's a matter of how we respond to that. And even if our initial reaction is not something we're proud of, you don't have to stay in that state long. Bring it back down. When you come back to your mind, bring it back down. I had a counselor who shared that once with me, and I appreciated it. She said her initial reaction to things sometimes is to panic. She says, I'm a panicker. I'll panic. But what I do now, I can still panic, but I stay in that state a shorter amount of time. I'm able to employ my tools, think about what I need to think about, and bring it back down. So whatever your state is, if you're anxious, if you're a fight or flight, if you might freeze, or some aggression, whatever it is, just stay in that state a short amount of time. Tell yourself the truth. Talk yourself down off that ledge and tell yourself the truth. Because what we're reacting to, we're acting as if something horrendous is upon us, a bear is about to claw at us, and it's not. Bring it down and remind yourself, I'm not about to be eaten alive. Nothing is happening to someone I love. You just have to learn to bring it down so that you can live another day, another moment to face whatever the challenge is. I can't handle the challenge if I'm dead and gone. I mean, and I can't get the benefits of the reward either. There are rewards for doing the right thing over time. There are rewards, even if they don't seem like it. They beat the alternative of cutting the food. Let's say that, because that has consequences and it's not something that we eventually are proud of. Okay, so the point is, those moments that you took to just rewind, unwind, do that every day. Do it throughout the day, especially when stuff is happening and popping off. You really need to, sometimes you need to close your eyes, go into a safe space, and if you're driving, okay. But there are times you just need to give that to yourself, because whatever has raised your temperature, it's major, at least it is to you at that time. So be gentle with yourself, kind to yourself, and give yourself a moment. If we were taking care of a younger version of ourselves, let's say a 2 or 3-year-old, and something scared the child, and it's not that big of a deal, but it scared her. Would you say, okay, get up, get over yourself. It's not even that big of a deal. That's not even nothing under your bed. Stop it. I mean, you could do a little better, right? That's rude, because to her and how long she's been here and what she's able to understand, it is scary. Don't do that. You can tell her it's not there, but you don't have to make her feel worse for it. She's already almost in tears. The same thing for ourselves. However we feel at that moment in time, something makes us feel that way. So we don't have to criticize ourselves for that. Be gentle. Tell ourselves the truth and then choose to walk in it. But be gentle with ourselves instead of pushing ourselves so much. Because if you keep pushing that little 2 or 3-year-old girl, she's going to grow up and she's going to have some issues. If we keep pushing ourselves in unhealthy ways, we're going to grow into some more issues too. No wonder people got so many issues. They worked for them, or it is, they earned it freely. It's not like it was something they looked for. No, it happened. No wonder. It makes sense. Yeah, that would produce an issue, or several of them. But at this age and stage, we can move differently. Things don't have to just happen to us without us having an ability to respond appropriately, to figure things out. And that's part of what this is figuring it out. So I hope after this, you're in a safe space, you can feel comfortable, you can unwind, and your temperature may have gone down because you're coming in from work or whatever you're doing, and you get to settle yourself so that you can even receive anything good. If our emotions are on overload, sometimes our logic is not. We can't even take things in when we're overwhelmed. We're not made to do all that at the same time. So you got to bring one down to be able to get some of the other. So you bring them down, those emotions, settle yourself so that you can hear and receive what's good and what's meant for you. Okay, as we move on, I want to look at day one. Okay, I say brave women because you're taking a plunge, you're stepping into something for you, intentionally for you, and that is to benefit you in the long run. So, starting point I have here is safety. Um, can you think of we've already talked about where, but you don't have to share it out, but can you think of a time when you felt safe and how your reactions changed? As you're thinking, because your situation is as important as mine, I'm just going to share mine since I had a mic, but think about your own. I remember when one of my favorite people in life um, passed. It was my grandfather at the time. And I had a job that it was not so good. It was not so welcoming. The lady was nice enough to give me my 3 days off. I appreciate how she talked to me nicely then, because if she hadn't, I probably would have broken down on the floor. But she was nice. I was like, okay, I was holding it together. I went, I handled the business. I went out of town, went to the funeral, did all that, traveled by myself, had to be strong on the airplane. Just whatever I had to do, I was in mode until I got to my family. Then I'm safe. But then having to come that trip all the way back, I had to do it again. Then I had to go to this job that was not a nice, kind environment. I don't even think they cared for me that much either. So when I got back, what they used to do when people had lost someone, they say something over the intercom, say send out prayers. It was a different environment. But when I came back, it was nothing. I don't know. It's almost like it didn't even happen. But I'm okay. I wasn't expecting no love and hugs, but I'm trying to manage my emotions against the environment that I'm going into. So I'm strong for what I'm perceiving to be. I'm walking down the hall, getting to the room. I was teaching at the time. I went into my classroom, and there was this lady there who is she was a part of a group of older ladies that consider themselves grandmothers to be in the classrooms with the children. I love her to this day. She has passed, but oh my goodness, she made such an impact on my life. I walked in that room. Remember, I'm strong, right? Because I have to be. But when I walk in, she is standing in the floor. She undoes me with her arms open. Well, now I can't hold it in. There you go. I was trying to do good. I was all right. But you standing there welcoming me and bringing, and just, and I'm like, but I was safe. The point is, you have to hold yourself when you're not safe because it's self protection. But when you feel safe, it presents something different. Oh, she comforted me because there were just things, and I still remember what she said. Um, because one of the times was before he passed. I remember he was on a ventilator, and I just knew that was the end. And she said, "No, no." She said, "I've been on the ventilator before, and I came off." I'm like, "What? You were?" Anyway, just there were just things. And my point is, sometimes there are people that are safe. Now, if you've not had safe people, it doesn't mean a lot. You just need one or two, sometimes. No wonder you're a mess. And I'm saying that generically. But any of us, when or seasons in our lives, when we don't have the support we need, the safety we need, we're not okay because you can't navigate this life by yourself. There's too much that happens. There's too much impact. So my first pillar is about support, but I couldn't share that without the safety because you can't even receive support from someone you don't feel safe with. And when we don't have that, it's going to cost us. And that's part of why this exists also, because there are times you just need somebody. And even the people that you may have that you love dearly, they may not be the one to walk with you through a situation. They might, like, I appreciate my children as well. Christina shared about her son. There are just some things I can't share with them, not to the degree I would with somebody else. It wouldn't be appropriate. They don't need that weight, that burden. They're not my equal on that level. And it wouldn't be healthy. So you share some things, but you determine maybe how much, and then the ages depend too. But still, so sometimes it doesn't mean you don't have loving people, but you may not have who you need for a particular experience or season in your life. And you can't put a counselor on speed dial and call them all the time. I used to tease that like if certain things happen, I'm like, I'm gonna have my counselor on speed dial. They're not gonna answer you every day. I mean, they got to live too, but you do need a community. Sometimes you do need people. You need someone because we have to go through life together to get through it effectively and in a healthy way. So what my picture, let me see, where's my picture? I'm looking for my picture of my leaning post. But in your workbook, you should have it. I'm going to, when it comes to support, if anybody likes boating, I don't know if you go boating a lot, go fishing or whatever, people get on the boat. I don't a lot, or at all. But I did learn about a leaning post. So you have the big steering wheel. I guess we're gonna call that's the helm, right? So whoever's steering the boat, you got the big wheel. Behind that is something called a leaning post. It has some cushion on it, and it's like it could be a chair. In some spaces, maybe you can sit, but it's really just kind of for your back, so that when you're steering, there's something firm, very firm behind you. And the point of that leaning post, anybody want to guess what that is for? Okay. Well, when rough waters happen, turbulence in the water, you need something to fall back on. Can you imagine steering in some high water? You're out there and the winds are strong and the waves are crashing. They sling you all over that boat. You're no match against the element of water. You're no match for it. You just be slung, you're trying to hold on to that. But that leaning post is to help gird you, give you some support to keep you from being slung all around that boat. Our support system does the same thing. There are times that the waters of life are just too much. They're too much to navigate by ourselves. And that we could just end with it's too much. We say it's too much. What I've been told, and I do believe it, but I still say, because you get the language, nothing is too much but death. Everything else we can survive. Okay, so there's that. However, sometimes it's too much by ourselves. And we need a leaning post. You need somebody. You need some type of support system, because we just cannot. We'll just be slung all over. Life will do us a number, and we don't even have the support to get back up. So a leaning post, which you should have in your book, I'm not seeing my picture now, I'm looking at it. That's what the support is. It provides support. It's located behind the helm of the boat and is where the captain typically operates the boat. It provides the driver with added comfort and has a variety of features and storage. The most important part is that it's used to stabilize the driver in rough waters. And this leads to our first pillar, which we talked about, which is support. And as you fill in your blanks, let me just read this. Look at your workbook. Emotional support, that's interaction that shows the individual that she or he is valued, cared for, and not alone. Imagine how much that would mean. I mean, there may be some people in jails and prisons now. If they had that, they may not be there. If they felt at times, I'm not excusing bad acts, I'm just saying all of us need the same things. Sometimes we get it, others don't. When you feel that you are valued, cared for, and not alone, what difference would that make? Just saying. The person is part of a community when you have support, even if that community consists of just one other person. It's like I'm not in this world against everybody by myself. So when it comes to emotional support of this kind, it involves a human being outside of yourself. There is someone, even if it's someone whose presence reveals you are not alone in your situation or your experience. Someone else cares and is invested in your well-being. It's no longer you against the world. It's you and at least one other person who understands and cares. Let that sink in, process. Anything you need to add to that question about that? Okay. And yep. Let's see this. Okay. Emotional health is all about how we think and feel. It involves our awareness of both our positive and negative emotions and the coping skills that we have to manage those emotions. So those are some of my bolded words. Those are some of the ones you were filling in. Let me do that again. Emotional health is all about how we think and feel. It involves our awareness of both our positive and negative emotions and the coping skills that we have to manage those emotions. Emotional health is not about feeling happy all the time. It's acknowledging what we really feel. And you may not be able to share that in every space. So this is another way people get issues, so many of them, when you've been forced to not share. Sometimes even in growing up, children are stifled. You can't acknowledge how you feel if something hurts you. You got to suck it up, pretend it doesn't happen. You can imagine how we really do sometimes men are disservice because they've been socialized that way. You're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to acknowledge things. Then they get in relationships and we're upset that they can't acknowledge things. Well, what? I've been socialized this way. It's a mess. But I've been taught and it's been ingrained. So it takes effort and work to step outside of that. But it happens to us in ways too. There are certain things we just won't acknowledge because we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be strong, supposed to be tough. Said who? You can also be dead. Like some stuff can take you over, take such an impact that it leads to early death, early issues, illnesses. What did you prove? Stretched out in front of the church. Not if you can prevent it or slow it down. That doesn't help. But sometimes we don't know how. That's why I said if we at least can learn how to breathe, take some time, and we'll saw it out. Let it be known that whatever I did or didn't do, it's not going to stop the world from rotating. The sun is still going to come up, and ideally, no one's life is at stake. So it's not all about being happy, but it's acknowledging, because we have to be true to our bodies. There's what you call, cognitive dissonance. When you know one thing, but you're doing another. It's your body and mind kind of are at war. But when you're able to acknowledge what you feel, who you are, how you are, and then you can decide what I want to do about it. Even if I don't know yet, I just might need to take a nap. I might need to just watch something fun on TV. But I'm recognizing and being sensitive that I'm in a space and I don't have to pretend that I'm not, because that takes extra effort and it causes us more harm. So the first pillar, there are times we experience things above our pay grade and we need help to process them. It's like, I don't even know where to go with this one. This is too much. But some situations simply cannot be handled in isolation. So this pillar of support that has been emphasized is that you need it to function well. So this emotional recovery, you don't even get to the recovery stage if you don't have safety and support. So you got to find you some, give yourself permission to be good to that little girl inside of you. If she's scared, if she's nervous, if she's overwhelmed, don't tell her, get over yourself. Nothing's under that bed. Stop all that crying. No, tell her it's not under the bed, but be gentle with her. Okay? Because be gentle with you. Because if not, she grows up with issues. And not just because of that one instance, but repeatedly, because nobody does it right all the time. So maybe no parent, and not even us for ourselves, but we want to get it right more than we get it wrong. One of the second steps that I will touch on today, the other will come later, is strength. So once we are safe and we have people, sometimes we need direction to do something, but we don't have the strength. Have you ever been between a rock and a hard place? Can you think about it? It's like, I got to do something, but I can't do that. Oh, and I can't do that either. What in the world am I going to do? What am I going to do? And that phrase, I feel like my situations are mine, yours are yours, but if you live long enough, everybody's had one. And maybe more than one. But the point is, life will happen to us and we will be in a spot where it's like, whoo, almost like doomed if I do and doomed if I don't, but something's got to give. But even when I know what I might need to do, if I don't have the strength to do it, I don't do it. You just don't do it. You put things off, you avoid. It doesn't go away, but we continue to put things off and avoid and wonder why we stay in cycles. And that's a tough spot. Being in cycles is real rough. It's like being on a hamster wheel. That hamster can't get off, I don't guess, unless someone stops the wheel. I don't know how that works. But sometimes we can't get off of our cycles either unless something stops. We just keep going like that, and then you die. You just keep going on that same cycle. We got to get off the cycle and do the thing. And sometimes the thing may be hard. It goes against what's our nature or what's natural. So that's when we need strength. So this question is, well, let me get the bullets. You get these points. It's not enough to realize our situations. We need to have the strength to do something about them. That takes strength, okay? And as we have learned through this event, intentions are not enough. Like, well, I meant to, I thought about it. They're not enough. When it comes to establishing healthy habits, what helps us continue them when we simply don't feel like it anymore? That's a question. What helps us to continue doing the right thing when we don't feel like it anymore? We may want to, but maybe not bad enough to actually do the right thing consistently over and over and over. If we do have these answers and possess this strength, then why haven't we done what has been needed yet? Chances are You need to access a deeper well of power and strength. This strength is tied to our beliefs. We get to explore some of these beliefs together, okay, and leverage them. What do you believe? Where do you draw strength from? It's your own personal answer. It has nothing to do with me, because I got to get mine where I can get mine, and you get yours where you can get yours. What are some ways that you do draw strength? I'm just going to throw out some, and then I want you to, if you think of some, you can unmute and do the same. Some people enjoy, like I already shared about being outside. Nature does it for me. It's something in my mind, my mental state. I'm not good if I'm cooped up too long. I got to get out. Not everybody has that same thing, but there's some people, we just got to get out. Now, what if you live in places where there's not a lot of green space, or you don't feel safe outside? Then that's different. Again, there's a lot of reasons people can have issues. Let's say that they didn't beg for them; it happened easily. But you do need a certain amount of green space. There's research on that. I know I need it. I may need it more than some people. So I can draw some strength from. Going walking outside, though. Typically, I don't do well with the treadmill and all that kind of stuff. I need to get outside. I need to breathe some air. Every so often, I may need to see a bird. I got to breathe it in, and I like to be by myself. That's just one. What is something you do to recharge, reboot? And I want you to think of and be able to share an answer, because one, I will share. You think about a refrigerator. The purpose of it is to do what? What does it do? Anybody? The obvious answer. What does a refrigerator do? Keep your food. Go ahead, Buki.
Keeps your food fresh.
Yeah, keeps it fresh. Any other words that it does? Can you, Christina?
Oh,
Yeah, it does. It keeps it cold, everything cool, because if not, it'll spoil and all that good stuff. It keeps it cool. But how does it do it? Because it's plugged up to a source. If you unplug that refrigerator, you can put all you want in there. It's not going to keep it. This food is going to rot. It's going to spoil. It's got to be connected to a source. So if we're trying to function and keep cool, keep these contents under pressure, keep them cool and do certain things, if we don't have a source, we're not effective either. Just like a refrigerator that you see on a showroom floor. It's pretty. It's double-sided. You can see the freezer through it. Some of them clear, whatever it's going to be. But it doesn't mean anything if it's not plugged up. Similarly, we cannot be effective at being cool, under pressure, making good decisions if we don't have something we plug up to, because there are going to be times that we need some support. Yes. Am I saying something? Okay.
Yes,
you got,
it's like
oh,
a
yes.
lot of support that we can get from even a friend or even a close family member. I get a lot of support from my mom and even my sister LaShonda. I get a lot of support from both of them because they give me support, because I've been through a lot in the past couple of months because of what was going on with my son. And I felt like there was more support from me to get through what I was going through with him. And it helped me get through those couple of weeks while he wasn't here with me. And even now, it's a lot better. And
Okay.
I feel more safer talking to my mom, even talking to my sister LaShonda, because they understand where I'm coming from. They've been
Okay.
there. They've been there, done it. So
Uh,
giving me support, I can give them some support too. I can give them some encouragement, and they can give me more encouragement too.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing that, because this is a reciprocal thing. And anything less than that is somebody's your counselor, you their counselor. When you have people that the relationship is mutually beneficial, that's a healthy relationship. Some people will zap all of your energy and give you nothing in return. And you never finish helping them because they always have such a deep need. It's never going to be filled. There's a hole at the bottom of their bucket. So whatever you pour in is going out. But they zap you. But a healthy relationship is we support each other. Maybe not at the same time. I might not need the same thing that you need at this time, but when I do need it, it's nice when you're able to support me too. And this is not called strings attached. This is just being healthy in life together, because we are there for one another. And that means something. So thank you for that share. And when it comes to strength, even when we have some support, some things we can't do unless we give ourselves permission, and then some things we can't do unless we have the strength to do it. When you really have to do the really hard thing, if you've ever had to do something that you knew, I don't have the strength to do it. Either you didn't do it or you did and you were glad you did. And I'm thinking about my really hard thing. I was like, I don't get to it. Then I say, okay, I'm gonna do it. I have to do it. I have no other option. And like, oh, no, I ain't get to it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I had to draw from strength. I actually did the thing. I did the thing. Was it easy? Heck no, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Today, can I see it was worth it? Yes. Well, heck yeah. I'm gonna stick with the same analogy. It was worth it. But I didn't have the strength when I didn't have it. I had to draw from my strength source. So whoever you believe, identify, because you've got to leverage your belief system. If you have, most people have one, you have something, but you got to figure something out. Because when certain things are supernatural, it's more than what a regular human natural person can handle, you need to draw something else. So we have to figure those things out. So whether it's nature, some people enjoy animals, it's soothing, it's calm. They don't get an attitude with you. Well, they act funny. They have their personalities, because my daughter has a dog and we love him. They have personalities. But being able to care for some other life can also be a source of strength for some people. So be it pets, some people love plants. You see my plants in the background. I don't ever have to water them either, y'all. That's my background. But the point is, you have something that you can receive some strength from that's important and it's necessary. And it challenges your beliefs, because if you do claim to draw strength from one place and you feel like something failed me, like I wasn't expecting this I feel too much again, it makes you really dig deeper. And you have to think about it. What do I believe? What am I clinging to? You might need to mute yourself, iPhone. I hear you. And if they either you'll take your hands off of it, and like I'm not fooling with this anymore. This belief system, it's not helpful, or you hold on harder. So the same grandmother B, that's her name, that I talked about in the beginning when I said she was standing on the floor with her arms open. We used to talk during the day at certain times when the children were at a particular activity. She has such a wealth of knowledge and experiences, and she has some really hard stuff that she endured. I didn't forget it either. And I remember just asking one time, how did you make it through that? How did you handle it? And she said, I had my support. She said that for her at that time was her church community, her family, her friends, and God. Her point, she answered easily, because her point was, beyond that, I would have made it. I would have made it. They'd have boxed me up, put me up. So, but she made it because of that. But my point is, even when those hard things happen, she didn't desert her belief system. She dug deeper into it. But there's choices that we get to make, because it doesn't mean things won't happen. It's just a matter of how well we're able to hold on through it. What or who are we holding on to in those times? Or do we choose to let go and choose something else? That's up to you. But you need something. You got to figure something out. And how does it serve you? Whatever it is, it may challenge you. And I'll say this: some people say, "Oh yeah." So when it comes to God, oh, don't question him. I say he can handle it. When people ask questions, they're learning, they're figuring stuff out. And I was at some space. This lady was saying how her grandson had just lost his mother, and he was a young boy, and something else she was describing. And she said, "Oh, but I told him, like you don't question God." It was something she was saying, "Don't do." Yeah, we have so many don'ts. Again, no wonder we have issues. Can I just be me? Can I be real with someone who can actually handle that? That's part of being safe and having safety. And if anybody can handle it. So when we have questions and we got to figure it out, maybe give yourself permission to have questions and to learn how to figure it out. If that infringes upon your beliefs and you disagree, then sift that out. Don't take that in. But if you're able to hear it, it's for those who choose to. It serves us when we have to keep on keeping on, and especially when we don't feel like it. So there will be times we've got to keep on keeping on. We don't feel like it, but we don't have a choice. Sometimes, you do, but we don't like that alternative. Like you don't have to go. But we don't like that alternative. You don't have to look both ways before crossing the street either, but we may not like our odds. So you don't have to do things, but the alternative, it beats the alternative. Let's say that. We're just getting going. We got more in store, more to do. Don't tap out on me now. Make sure you come tomorrow as well for day 2. So I covered some things that might go into day 2, but that's okay. We'll touch on again whatever we need to. As we close, does anybody have any particular aha? If you could do it in 30 seconds or so, if there's something that stands out, something that you hope we cover throughout the rest of these days. If so, let me know. Anything as you processed?
Well, I have some on this weekend. I'm going to my mom's festival of books, and I'm going to be selling bubble ink pens and keychains, and the keychains that go to your keys and bigger keychains that I have. I'm going to show you one for an example. It's going to be one like this, and it's going to be different colors. I have like pink, red, green, and blue, and brown. So that's something that I'm going to do as far as my business. I'm trying to promote my business, pens and keychains for
Well, good.
summer, and that's something that I want to do.
Okay. Okay.
Continue to do while I'm in school.
I like that. I think it's really nice when we have something to do with our hands too. That also sometimes helps our mental state, our emotional state, having something to do. It just works that way because we use our minds so much and doing things, figuring things out, sometimes being stressed, having something physical to do is a benefit. So I'm glad you have that. And I think that's awesome. Anybody else have an aha or a takeaway before we leave tonight? Or you just still processing? Because that's fine too.
For me,
I
it's
want to
the
be
Lillian post.
Buki,
The Lillian post.
the leaning post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That
there's always like that I sometimes I know that it's not people around me that I really feel like talking to about that particular issue. And I always long to have that person in my life that I can talk to.
Yes, I thank you for that. Me too. It's needed. We all need that. I appreciate that. Any other ahas? Let me say this.
And then this
Okay,
have
that's one of
two
your pens.
that
Okay, good deal.
yeah.
Okay, that's
So
nice. Thank you for showing that. I want to say this before we go, because I want to keep to our time. VIP is in the chat. If anybody does want to sign up for VIP, so we will close up now. So we would have that if needed, any deeper dives that we would take in that session. And it comes with some other perks and affirmations and things. But on that note, I appreciate your time. I value your time. I look forward to seeing you back tomorrow. If you have a friend you want to bring, tell them, come on, it's free. Come on and join. Get your cup of tea. Our time of just, with your finger up. Just to chill out, take some things in for ourselves, be able to smile and mean it and live despite the chaos that could be going on around us, because stuff's going to happen. But we don't have to let it make us crazy too. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. That's it. Thanks again. Have a good night.